Rex Tillerson this morning got in, as Ellen Ratner and I were talking about, got into this dust-up. I'm not sure exactly how to characterize it, with Marco Rubio in the hearing this morning. And there's, if Marco Rubio defects, there are 11 Republicans and 10 Democrats on that committee. It's possible, if the Democrats showed a united front against Tillerson, that they could blow up the getting it out of committee. But then Mitch McConnell can simply bring it to the floor without the committee, which I'm guessing he would be inclined to do. So, we'll see where that goes. But what I thought was interesting was Tillerson, first of all, said straight up that ExxonMobil had not lobbied against the sanctions against Russia over Ukraine and Crimea. When, according to Politico anyway, or at least according to an article by Nal Tusi and Burgess Everett that's just up on Politico right now, not only did he lobby and not only did ExxonMobil lobby against this particular piece of legislation, which, by the way, never passed. What the law would have done was take the sanctions that were put into place by executive order by President Obama and made them law, which means it would be very, very difficult for a president, for Mr. Trump sitting in the White House, to delete that, to undo that, because it would be law. So it would require Congress to undo it. And so, I mean, there's some debate about it, and a spokesperson for ExxonMobil said, no, we didn't lobby, but, and Tillerson said, no, we just tried to let people know, let the president and others know, this would be President Obama, and others know the impact that law and that these sanctions would have. And presumably by impact, they're talking about the impact on the bottom line of, one of the largest corporations in the world, ExxonMobil. But the thing that I found most interesting was this paragraph in this article that I just referenced in Politico. Tillerson is required by an ethics agreement to recuse himself, withdraw himself, from all matters involving ExxonMobil, that would be as Secretary of State, is required to recuse himself from all matters involving ExxonMobil for a year. And he reiterated several times that he will adhere to that requirement. But Senators' efforts to pin him down on a much longer commitment to do so were fruitless. And I'm reading that going, really? I mean, the guy's leaving ExxonMobil with over $100 million in a golden parachute. Rich. He's leaving ExxonMobil. And he's saying, yeah, for the first year that I'm Secretary of State, I won't involve myself in anything that has to do with ExxonMobil that might benefit or hurt ExxonMobil. But after that, I'm not going to tell you. I don't know. I realize the law requires this, the ethics agreement requires this 1 year break. But I would think that if I was Rex Tillerson, on the one hand, you say, yes, I'm going to recuse myself, period, going forward. On the other hand, ExxonMobil's activities around the world and its role in the United States are so substantial that it's going to be very difficult for a Secretary of State to avoid anything that might have to do with ExxonMobil. Or just generally, energy policy, oil policy, all that kind of stuff going forward. So I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be as raised eyebrow about this as I am. Oh, and I also during the break, reading all the details and some of the clips and looking at some of the clips from the press conference this morning, I figured out the answer to the question that I asked Ellen and that I had asked rhetorically on the air before that, which was when CNN tried to ask Trump a question this morning. And he said, you're a fake news organization. I'm not going to take your question. And my question was, why did not everybody else from the press in the room say, we're not going to ask you any more questions until you answer CNN's question? And so my question to Ellen was, why didn't they have it? And Ellen's answer was, well, they're all egomaniacs. Well, it turns out it's a little more interesting than that. After Donald Trump said, I'm not going to take your question to CNN, initiating the White House censorship of a major news organization. I mean, this is the game that politicians play with news organizations, but they rarely do it so publicly, which is treat me nicely on TV and I'll keep coming back on your show. Don't treat me nicely, I'll never show up again. Or treat me nicely, give me good coverage and I'll give you good information. Give me bad coverage, I'll cut you. It's this awful, incestuous kind of quid pro quo going on. But what's interesting is that the person that he went to, at least according to a report on Politico, or excuse me, on The Hill, that the person that he went to after he said no to CNN was the reporter from Breitbart News. Duh. So now you know why they didn't take the high moral, ethical, Breitbart is part of the Trump organization, arguably. Obviously it's not literally, but with Steve Bannon, who was running Breitbart as a senior advisor to the president, just the whole thing, it was strange.